Kitty.
Hi, dear. I'm sorry it took me so long to get here, but I had to finish with the customer at the bookstore before I could leave.
Just as long as you're here now. I put Andy down for his nap a while ago.
Okay, fine. Listen, this personal emergency is something serious.
Oh, Kim, don't be alarmed, dear. It's just something personal that I have to take care of right away, okay?
All right. Well, if I can do anything to help at all, please say so. I'll be here.
Thank you, but it involves someone else, and until I can get the facts straight myself, no sense getting anyone else upset. I won't be long.
Well, don't worry about it now. I asked Betsy to meet me here after work.
Oh, that's good. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay, I hope everything works out all right.
I hope so, too.
Bennett, darling, I hate to disturb you, honey, but I fixed you some hot lunch, so come on. Bennett, open the door, darling. I know you're in there. Please open it. Bennett! Come on now, open the door. You're beginning to frighten me. Bennett, please open the door. Bennett!
Lisa, is that you?
Yes. Is something wrong, darling?
No, of course not. No, everything's all right. Be right there.
Don't you hear me? I'm out here knocking on the door.
I stretched out. I guess I fell sound asleep.
Bennett, you gonna open the door for me?
Yeah, I'm just pulling some clothes on.
Bennett, it's me. Tracy, don't be silly.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Have you any idea how long I've been standing out there?
Well, you know me when I fall into one of those sound sleeps.
Yes, I really don't know your sleeping habits. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let me
You will not touch this. I have prepared your lunch. I shall now proceed to serve you.
Why didn't Hester do that?
Because Hester has this wonderful act of hers where she just disappears. I don't know where she is. It's when I need her the most, that's when I can't find her.
Well, I guess she's only got a week before the wedding. She's got a lot to clean and polish. She's got her handful.
Yeah. Imagine, in 1 week I will be your wife.
Sounds awfully good to me.
You bet. Oh, and I can't wait for you to see my wedding dress. It is.
Why don't you model it for me?
Don't be silly. You're not going to see my wedding dress. That's bad luck.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm not going to tempt the fates around here, not after what happened last night.
Oh, Lisa, I'd hoped you'd forgotten about that. I'm convinced it's just another one of Hester's tricks to scare you away from here.
I don't believe that. I really don't, darling. But she was so emphatic when she mentioned that she smelled a woman's perfume just before she was hit on the head.
Oh, well then, but why didn't Sheriff Hargraves and I find any evidence of somebody breaking in? And how did they get away without our seeing them?
Well, now, if you remember, the sheriff did mention that he noticed up in the attic this open space, or really it's an empty space, and he said that it didn't seem to correspond with any of the walls on the next floor. Therefore, I think that perhaps there's maybe a secret passageway or some hidden place for somebody.
Lisa, all the years I've been here, don't you think if there were a secret passageway that I'd know about it?
No, not necessarily. It could be so well hidden that, well, I mean, some people would just...
What? You mean to tell me that I don't know about this passageway, but Hester's secret, mysterious female intruder, she found it in a couple of seconds? Lisa, you're just letting your imagination run away with you.
Not, I can't help but be curious.
That must be our missing housekeeper. Yeah, told you. Hester, Lisa tells me that you weren't around before when she wanted you to fix my lunch for me. Where were you?
Well, I was waiting for the tow truck that's going to pull Dr. Bickford's car off that icy stretch of road by the quarry. Well, they just got here, so I wanted to let you know I was leaving, but I'll be back in time to start dinner.
Just give him the keys.
Oh, no, I want to go with them.
It's not going to help for you to be there.
Well, he was nice enough to lend me his car, and so I feel a personal responsibility to get it back to him unharmed. I'll be back shortly.
Sometimes I just don't understand Hester.
What were you saying about... Oh, Ben! What's come come over you.
Oh, I was thinking how good it is to have Hester gone. We got the place all to ourselves.
You silly thing. She'll be back soon. Come
Well,
on.
that's even more reason not to waste time. Valuable time looking for secret passageways that don't exist. Okay.
Mom, you have to believe me. That was an outright lie.
Oh, I was sure it was, Annie. But I thought you ought to know that you ought to be aware of what Marcia Campbell's saying about you and her husband.
She is the most vicious, cruel woman. How dare she say those things to you and expect you to believe them?
And this wasn't the first time that she's brought up your name in conversation.
What?
No, the other day at Nancy's, she made several comments about how friendly you and her husband were and how late he'd been working at the hospital and how jealous she'd be if she was that kind of woman.
You mean she sat there and said those kind of things in front of Nancy?
Yes. And I was very uncomfortable because I knew that there was a time when Dr. Campbell and his wife had separated that you had certain feelings for him. But your father and I had both hoped that you'd managed to get over them.
I don't want to talk about my feelings, Mom.
You don't have to, dear. But you have to face what she's saying.
Yes, I know. You know, Mom, Doug finally admitted to me that his marriage was long over before Marcia went to Greece, and he planned to leave her.
But they're living together now. They're living as husband and wife.
They're living as husband and wife in name only. Doug was trying to make it work for Brian's sake. But he told me that even if I wasn't in his life, he'd still leave Marcia because the situation is impossible. And the constant arguing is terrible for Brian.
Oh, I can understand how that could be. Did he file for a divorce?
He started to, but he changed his mind. I didn't know what had happened. He just came to me and said that he'd thought it over and he was going to try to give it another chance.
Were you hurt?
It was horrible. I didn't know until yesterday that Marcia had threatened to involve me in a scandal if Doug tried to leave her. That's why he stayed with her.
What an awful way to try to hold on to a man.
Doug kept that from me for so long. Anyway, Marcia's plan won't work because Marcia lost the only witness who would testify in court for her if it ever came to that. She obviously told you all of those lies as another way to hurt me.
How could you be so vindictive?
I don't know. But, Mom, I am so glad you didn't believe her.
Oh, sweetheart, I know you too well to ever believe that. But I just wonder what's going to happen. I'm a little worried about.
I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm not going to let Doug stay in that impossible situation because he's trying to protect me.
What can you do, dear?
I don't know. I wish he had come to me sooner and told me about everything.
Lisa, I just hate to leave the children for any longer than I have to. And if it weren't for them, then of course I'd be there right now helping you with your wedding plans.
Oh, Kim, I'm not asking you to come today, but just please, as we had planned, come as early as possible.
Well, the only thing I can promise you is the latest I'll get there is the day before your wedding. And then that way I can make any last-minute adjustments to the party that I'm giving you and Bennett.
Please keep in mind the wedding rehearsal, my dear matron of honor.
I haven't forgotten that, for heaven's sakes. Listen, now, we're going on, and you haven't told me a word about your trip to New York.
Oh, Kim, it was so wonderful. I had the most marvelous time, and oh, my wedding dress, I bought that. It is just beautiful. I do hope Bennett likes it. Of course, if he doesn't, it'll be too late to change it.
I'm sure he's going to love it.
I really had a great time. I bought my entire trousseau while I was there. And I got, the peignoirs and the nighties and some exotic fragrances.
My word, you really had a shopping spree, didn't you?
Yeah, I surely did. And, by the way, have you ever heard of this perfume called Mimosa?
Mimosa? It's kind of old-fashioned, isn't it?
Well, yes, I think it is. The reason why I mentioned it is Hester thought that she smelled that perfume when she was hit over the head last night.
Honey, aren't you afraid to be up there after what happened to her?
Yeah, a little. But I think it serves the old biddy right after she's been spending so much time just trying to scare the pants off everybody up here.
Lisa, come on now. Be careful. She's going to hear you.
No, she's not going to hear me. She's not here. You'll never guess. She's gone out to the quarry. She's with the tow truck men trying to help them get Dr. Bickford's car out of this icy rut that she drove it into last night when she was driving up in the quarry.
She what?
Oh, please. I can't go through that. But you know Hester. She's always she loves to be involved in everything.
Wait a minute. I remember that road. That's where we went for that walk, isn't it? My gosh, even in the daytime that made me nervous. Why in heaven's name would anybody drive up there at night?
I don't know. She just said it was a shortcut or something, but everybody in Norwich, they all know not to go up there. I mean, even including Bennett. No one goes up there at this time of year. They wait until spring when all of the ice and snow is melted off the road.
Listen, honey, I'll get the details later. Betsy just came in and I...
Oh, well, give her my love, would you?
Okay, I will. I'm sure she sends hers to you, too.
Kim, wait just a minute before you hang up. One more little thing I have to tell you. Guess who I talked with today when I called Tom?
I don't know. Who?
Bob. He was visiting Tom, and he's so wonderful. He promised me, he said he was going to do his best to get here for the wedding. Isn't it just terrific?
Oh, I think that would be lovely.
Oh, yeah. I certainly don't have to tell you that, well, as you know, Bob and I have certainly had our problems, but I will always love that man, I'm sure. He is so dear to me, and I think it would just be, it would make my wedding perfect if he could be here.
I've made medication changes for all of these patients. Will you make sure that the night crew sees them when they come on duty?
Of course, Dr.
Thank you.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Annie.
Maria, is Dr. Campbell in his office?
Oh, I can answer that one. Doug and your father left for St. Joe's just a few minutes ago.
Do you have any idea when they'll be back?
Well, Doug said he'd be gone most of the afternoon.
Well, I have some work to catch up on in the lab. That'll keep me busy.
Annie?
Yeah.
Is your mother all right?
Yes, why?
Well, I saw her a few minutes ago, and she was in a big hurry to find you.
That. Bob, she had a lot of things on her mind, but we had a talk. She's fine now.
Oh, okay. I won't keep you.
Have a nice afternoon.
You too.
Oh, are you leaving early?
Yeah, I'm off this evening for a change.
Well, with all this free time on your hands, maybe you'll find time to buy some coffee.
It's very funny. No, actually, I'm going to go across the street and get myself a sandwich and drink, and then I'm going to go home and go to bed early. However, tomorrow morning, I'll be around to mooch off my friendly neighbors.
You are welcome.
Good. You know, Annie, I guess I had an overactive imagination when it came to you and Doug.
You always thought the worst when you saw us together.
I want you to rest assured that you will never have to defend your behavior again to me.
Well, that's good, because I just spent the last half hour explaining everything to my mother.
Your mother?
Doug told me that Marcia would stop at nothing to spread the lies about me all over Oakdale. I guess he was right.
She went to your mother, huh?
In tears. And she told her she just found out that Doug and I were having an affair.
Your mother didn't believe her, did she?
No, of course not. She just wanted me to know so I could try and stop Marcia before it goes any further.
Ah, good luck on that.
Oh, I'm not stupid enough to try to reason with her, but, well, maybe I can talk to Doug. Maybe he can help me.
I wouldn't bring Doug into this right now, Annie.
Why?
Well, I mean, if your mom didn't believe it, what's the point of bringing Doug in?
Well, because there are a lot of people who don't know me that well. She has to be stopped, Jeff.
Well, you do what you think is right. I'll tell you one thing. If I were Doug and you came to me with that story, I'd have to plead insanity and throw myself on the mercy of the court.
Well, that might be your reaction, but it won't be Doug's.
Well, I hope so, for your sake and Doug's.
Well, even if it isn't, I have to tell him anyway. You have a good evening off.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
What the hell? What's the matter? Don't you read sign language?
You sure, lady?
Never sure.
And while you're at it, you can clear away all these glasses you so cleverly lined up in front of me. I got the message. After you finish, fix me another drink, okay? Come on now. Happy bartenders make for happy customers, and that makes for happy tips. You remember that from bartending school? That's more like it.
That's 10 even.
I'm not ready to pay yet. I'm not finished.
Oh, yes, you are, lady. Unless you'd like a cup of coffee, black. And that's on the house.
You know what's wrong with this society today? Lacking a sense of humor.
You're gonna need this for the cab ride home.
I'm not taking a cab home. I'm waiting for my knight in shining armor. He's going to come charging in a white... Well, what do you know? Speak of the devil.
Bye, Marcia.
No, I thought I told you the last time we were here that if you ever tried to walk out on me again, you'd be very sorry.
It didn't stop me then, and it's not going to stop me now, Marcia.
Oh, oh, Jeff. Oh, you're rejecting me.
Sit down, will you?
No.
Just sit down. Look, Marcia, I am not rejecting you, all right? I mean, you can't reject someone unless you completely accept them, and I...
Will you cut out the psychiatric baloney? I'm in no mood to be analyzed.
It could help, you know?
Vodka's the only help I need right now, sweetie.
Marcia, what are you trying to prove? You know you can't hold your liquor.
Wrong. Never learned to hold my liquor. Because I was an aspiring and dedicated medical student, so liquor never crossed these aspiring or dedicated lips.
What's your excuse this time?
For drinking?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a happy housewife, haven't you heard?
You know, maybe if you, tried being a housewife instead of spending your afternoons at the Stewart house filling Annie's mother full of lies, you wouldn't have to drown yourself in booze.
That's what I love about small town life. Good news travels so fast.
Yes, sure does, sure does. So does bad news, Marcia.
What's that supposed to mean?
You know something? Everybody knows that you're talking about Doug and Annie. Nobody believes you. They're on to you, Marcia.
You think so?
Oh, I know so. And so do you. Because you wouldn't be sitting here drinking yourself into oblivion unless you had a guilty conscience to hide or some embarrassment.
I'm surprised to hear that you think I have a conscience at all, Mr. Temporary Chief of Surgery.
Well, you've got one. It's hidden by torment, but it's there, Marcia. It's there, along with a frightened and insecure little girl. You know that?
Well, then I better do my best to keep it hidden. Because I can't think of anything less attractive than an insecure and frightened little girl.
That's funny, you know. Because if I were you, I would do my damnedest to uncover it. Because I can't think of anything less attractive than the way you are now.
Bennett, darling, where'd that man go? Now, as my story nears its conclusion, I find myself looking back and hoping I won't make the same terrible mistakes I made with Ruth. Ruth, who is gone now, but whose memory is as lasting as the fragrance of mimosa that permeated every room she entered.
I'm back. What's wrong, Mrs. Coleman? Did I frighten you?
Did you? What a stupid question to ask. Of course you did. Sneaking up on me like that. I didn't even know who you were for a minute with that scarf across your face.
Well, I'm sorry, but I've just come in from outside and it's very
Hester,
cold and sleeting now.
I do not want you to ever sneak up on me again. Now, is that understood?
I wasn't sneaking, Mrs.
Well,
Coleman.
I don't know what you would call it then. Now, here I am standing here and you come in practically stand on top of me and then you speak.
I said hello in the doorway, but you were so involved in something on Bennett's desk that apparently you didn't hear me.
Apparently, I didn't.
Yes, well, I just wanted to let you know that I was home, so if you will excuse me.
Just a moment.
Yes?
I'd like for you to read something. Start right here. Read it out loud, please.
Ruth, who is gone now, but whose memory is as lasting as the fragrance of mimosa that permeated every room she entered.
Yeah, well, is it true?
That Ruth always wore mimosa?
Yes!
Well, of course. Didn't you know that?
Know that? Not until I just got through reading it. How could I have known it before?
Well, for one thing, all the clothes in the antique hamper that Ruth left in the cellar still have a very strong scent of mimosa about them. And unless you removed them when you went through her things, there were several unopened bottles of perfume in that hamper that she packed to take with her.
Hester, are you sure about that?
I'm positive. I went through everything that Ruth left behind myself because it was too painful for Bennett to do it.
Oh, really? Mimosa, such an old-fashioned scent. Hardly anyone wears that these days.
Yes, I know. That's why when I came down to the sitting room last night and suddenly smelled it, Well, all of a sudden I thought that...
What'd you think, Hester?
Well, the only other person I knew who ever wore that scent was Ruth.
Are you trying to say you think that Ruth is the one that hit you on the head?
Yes, but just for a second. Then I realized, of course, that it couldn't be true.
Well, why not?
Mrs. Coleman, Ruth hated this inn while she lived here. And she would never risk facing Bennett again, even now. So why would she come back here?
I don't know. There could be a million reasons for her to come back here.
Perhaps. But she'd have no reason to strike me. No, Sheriff Hargraves was right. Teenagers were trying to vandalize the inn, and I scared them, and they hit me on the head.
I know, that's his theory. Yeah, it probably is a good one, too. Why don't you go to your room and change your clothes before you catch your death of cold?
I am feeling chilled. Maybe I'll take a hot bath before dinner.
Good idea, Hester, yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Coleman, if Dr. Bickford comes by for his car, I left the keys on the desk in the front hallway.
All right, I'll see to it that he gets his keys.
And please tell him that I'm very sorry for what happened.
Yes, indeed, I will.
Thank you. Where is Bennett?
I don't know. He was in here working. I went to my room, I took a nap, and when I came back, well, he's just seemed to, disappeared.
Well, maybe he went for a walk. He does that quite often when he's writing. It seems to clear his head.
I'm well aware of that. And I'm not worried, so don't you be worried about him.
I'm not. Are you coming?
Yeah, sure, why not? I have nothing else to do in here. I'll find a book, I'll read it. Then he comes back for his walk, well...
You know, Ellen, I have plenty of hot water out in the kitchen if you want a little more tea.
Oh, no more. Thanks, Kim. I'm feeling much better now.
Well, I hope so. I was kind of worried about you when you left here today.
I know you were. Kim, I hope that you don't feel I was being rude by not going into detail. You and I have always been so open and honest with each other. I wouldn't want you to feel I was shutting you out.
Oh, heavens, don't be silly. Of course not. You know something? As long as you've been so kind as to invite us all to stay for dinner, I think I should go out and get things started for you.
We're just going to have leftover lamb roast. All that has to be done is have it warmed up.
Well, okay, then I'll do the warming up. And then Betsy can make the salad after she finishes her homework, okay?
There's no rush. David had a meeting this afternoon, so there's no telling what time he'll get back, and Annie's going to drive home with him.
All right, fine. Dee going to be with us?
Your guess is as good as mine. Her schedule is so erratic since she's become Ian McFarland's Girl Friday. But she loves it, so that's all that really matters, I guess.
It sounds pretty exciting. You know, Sonny, I was going to ask you, Annie's all right, isn't she?
Yes, why do you ask him?
Well, I don't know, on Thanksgiving, she really didn't seem like herself.
Well, Annie's been struggling with some problems.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it's nothing serious.
Well, it could be, but fortunately she's a bright and sensible girl, and she's going to be able to work them out, I'm sure.
Listen, with parents like you and David supporting her every step of the way, I know she will.
Feeling better?
Then what? Oh, hello, Mrs. Campbell. Sheila Winston. Oh, hello there. Yeah, I work in the bookstore and at Wrangler's. I've waited on you before.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. You're Jeff Ward's friend.
Oh, well, I wouldn't exactly say we're friends. I mean, I've seen you around the hospital and in the restaurant. Do you know Tom Hughes?
Hi, Tom.
Nice seeing you again, Mrs. Campbell.
Nice seeing you, too. You know, I could swear that from when I remember seeing you and Jeff together that you were more than just casual friends.
Well, Sheila, we'd better get going if you're going to help me pack.
Oh, are you going on a trip, Tom?
No, just moving into my apartment.
How nice. Everyone over 12 should have one of those.
Well, good night, Mrs. Campbell.
I am never, never, never going to let anyone walk out on me again, and that's a promise.
Were you talking to me?
No. I'm just making a promise to myself. And one I'm gonna keep.
Beth, honey, did you finish your homework?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told your grandmother that you'd make the salad for dinner, okay?
Sure. Were you talking to Lisa on the phone when I got home from school?
Yeah.
Did you call her, or did she call you?
I called her. Why?
Well, I just hope that you're not going to cancel your trip to Norwich for the wedding on account of me.
Oh, honey, no, I'm not going to do that. I am going up a couple of days later than I intended, but that's to make things a little easier on your grandparents.
So they don't have to look after me any longer than they have to?
Honey, I didn't mean it that way. Although, unfortunately, they do seem to feel responsible for what happened while I was gone.
I know. But I promised that I wouldn't lie to them again. And I would obey all your ground rules. What more can I do?
Things haven't been very easy for either one of us lately, have they?
No.
Well, old girl, here we are, trying to cope as best we can with things. You're out there trying to be all grown up, make your own decisions, choose your friends. And here I am, trying to cope with the responsibilities of raising a family and running a house. And all the things that I used to share with your father.
Kim, let's not talk about Dad. It still hurts.
I know. I'm sorry, sweetheart. All I was trying to say is that, he left me with the responsibility of making sure that you have the best start possible in life. And I just don't know how I'm going to do that if you don't let me. So, well, will you?
Yes. But Kim, Dad also left us with something else.
What's that, sweetheart?
Well, he wanted us to go on with our lives and enjoy all the good things.
Oh, you bet he did.
Well, then he would want you to go to Lisa's wedding and have a wonderful time, just like you were planning to.
What is this? Are you telling me what to do all of a sudden?
Yes. I want you to go up early and stay as long as you want and have a great time, and Grandma, Grandpa, and Andy and I will be just fine.
You mean you won't even miss me?
Of course we will, because I love you.
Oh, boy. Oh, honey, I love you too. So much. Thank you very much for making me feel good about going.
Okay, now, let's see. Mimosa perfume. I was thorough. I did not find any perfume before. I remember these things. That. Musty smell. I sure don't smell like perfume. Mr. Pierce, you better be right about those bottles of perfume being in here, or you're gonna be looking for a new job faster than you ever dreamed.